I look at Kenya today and I'm very sad. Even as an analyst, it's very hard work trying to analyze politics, because you will say something, your honest opinion, analysis of a situation, and then somebody will respond, a very intelligent person, maybe with 10 degrees, a PhD or something like that. They'll respond in a complete tribal manner. The emotions which are tribal will rise up inside them, and they'll say, no, kumekucha, you're telling a lie, your information is unverified, etc., etc., etc. Yeah? And then when you say something positive, or something they deem to be positive, yeah, which is usually some bad luck that's going on the other side, they will congratulate you and tell you, kumekucha, well done, you're right, your information is so accurate, thank you for enlightening us, you're so accurate, blah blah blah. I'm really getting sick of it, and so I decided to do this recording to tell you the truth. Those who want to hear, sikilizeni. Those who are not interested, that's still fine with me. But those who want to know where this deep hatred in our country came from, this deep hatred and rivalry between two main communities in our country, where it came from, those who want to know, you will know today. It is a very sad story. It's a story where this thing was used as a political weapon. And as usual, I'll look at it from both sides. I'll look at it even from the side of those who are perpetuating it, those who engineered the whole scheme. Yeah, because there's a good side to it. Yeah, but my view is that whatever good side there was to it was overshadowed by a curse they have left upon the nation of Kenya that will probably last forever. The curse of two Kenyans living in the same country, hating each other so much that actually they could have been in two different countries. The curse of cheating ourselves that we're in one united Kenya, when clearly we have two different countries, two very different republics. I dare call one republic the Republic of Kenyans, and then the other republic, the Republic of Maseperes. Yeah? That's what we have in Kenya today. Very sad. Now I know most people hate history lessons, so let me just stick to the facts. I'll go very quickly where it all started. Yeah? Early independence Kenya. The two major tribes in Kenya, the Luo and the Kikuyu, were firmly together. They were united in one purpose, and it looked like the bond between the two would never be broken. The colonial government had been defeated sensationally, using mainly thanks to the very, very crafty Tom Mboya, who had engineered negotiations with the colonial government and had somehow managed stage by stage and very carefully, in a very carefully crafted plan, to get Kenya into Lancaster House Conference, where now the complete independence of Kenya was being discussed. Yeah, he started just by demanding more seats in the LegCo. Yeah, and then when those more seats were demanded, independence was demanded. It's as simple as that. I'll not bore you with the details, but that's what happened. So coming into new independent Kenya, President Jomo Kenyatta, a Kikuyu, was the president. Vice President was Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, father to Raila Odinga. This was more than a relationship between a president and his vice president. It went deeper than that. The two were very close. You see, Jomo Kenyatta owed Jaramogi Oginga Odinga a lot. Jomo Kenyatta was rotting away in prison. Nobody was interested in him. He had been imprisoned on trumped-up charges of being a member of Mau Mau, when actually the man all his life had professed non-violence. In fact, Mau Mau had even threatened Jomo Kenyatta's life many times. And yet, a court of law had proved him guilty of being a leader, not even just a member, a leader of Mau Mau, which was a total lie. Okay? But Jomo's rest was rotting away in prison, forgotten, when Jaramogi Odinga stood up in the LegCo, the parliament at that time, and told a shocked house, we Africans do not want independence until Jomo Kenyatta is released immediately. Now, that statement shocked the house, and in fact some people asked, Jomo who? Who is that? Yeah, he had been forgotten. To cut a long story short, that statement by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga triggered a chain of events that led to the release of Jomo Kenyatta. and soon after that the independence of Kenya. So this was a very firm friendship, very firm. It didn't look like it would be broken. And sitting in Kenya those days, if somebody had come and told you that in future these two tribes are going to be bitter rivals in the country called Kenya, they'd have probably laughed you away. Yeah? But a few events were to follow in quick succession that changed all that. As they say, politics is a very dirty game. Very dirty. Now the government, the inner circle in the government of Jomo Kenyatta realized one thing, that the government was not secure because there were real threats surrounding the presidency of Jomo Kenyatta. The biggest threat was one man we keep talking about, one man who you cannot talk about the history of Kenya without mentioning him, a man called Thomas Joseph Odhiambo Mboya, or simply known as Tom Mboya. This is the man who had single-handedly led the country into independence with his crafty negotiation skills, his correct reading of the political temperatures abroad and where it mattered and where the people had the power to make a change. Yeah, he read all the signs correctly and delivered independence to Kenya. He was a real threat because if he had been able to grapple with the mighty colonial government, a local Kenyan government of locals would be nothing to him. And that was the big fear in the inner Kenyatta circle. Okay? But there was no such thing as low unit in the government. There was no tribalism up to that point, at least not to that extent, because Tom Mboya and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga were bitter rivals. Okay? Jaramogi, the older man, thought that Tom Mboya was a young man in a big hurry and very arrogant. Okay? And he felt that the younger man should at least respect him more. Yeah? Tom Mboya on the other side was cosmopolitan, young, with a bright political future ahead of him, and he had no time for the older traditional Jaramogi. He viewed Jaramogi as somebody who would have no agenda for Kenya, no agenda for the new Kenya which was coming. He viewed him as being slow in being able to realize what was happening around the world and how Kenya would fit into it all. But it was a foreign source, an outside source, that triggered the troubles within the young Kenyan government. You see, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was receiving support from Russia. And at that time, Russia was Russia, because there was the Cold War going on, mainly between America and Russia. And Americans were very nervous about having strong Russian influence in East Africa, and most notably in such a strategic country like Kenya. They were very determined to completely root out that influence. Now, up to this point, the government of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta had played their cards intricately and perfectly and very well, in a very commendable manner. They had announced and professed to the whole world that Kenya was a country which was non-aligned. Yeah, we were not aligned either to the west or to the east. We were just a young African country, ready to develop at a rapid rate and ready to discuss and do business with either side. The Americans did not like that. Not even the British. In fact, the whole West did not like that, because they knew where Russian influence is involved, it tends to overwhelm all other interests. Okay? The Russians on the other side were keen to keep their appointment, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, very close to the seat of power, because they saw this as a perfect opportunity for them to get a foothold on a continent which had been elusive to them for decades. According to classified CIA documents released recently, declassified and released recently, the CIA led a very spirited operation with the cooperation of the Jomo Kenyatta government to get rid of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. The idea was to get rid of Russian influence in the country, and the way to do that was to remove Jaramogi Oginga Odinga from anywhere near the seat of power and to make him politically irrelevant. Now, in the next part of this recording, we shall see exactly how that was done, and then we shall also discuss the major operation that led to the hatred we have in the country of Luos today. The hatred that is so deep that a Kenyan can stand up and say it is not possible. Not a Kenyan, many Kenyans can stand up and believe in their hearts it is not possible for a Luo to be president. As if a Luo is not a human being. Anyway, catch you in the next part of this series. You know what to do by now. Just click on that link which is on the top left hand corner of your screen and it'll take you directly to part 2 of this recording. See you there. Thank you. Chris Kumekucha here.